The annual Thompson family dinner was in full swing, and my sister Diana was doing what she did best, making sure everyone knew about her success while diminishing mine. "So," Aunt Patricia asked, passing the mashed potatoes, "how are both my nieces doing in their careers?" Before I could speak, Diana jumped in. "Well, I just got promoted to Executive Vice President at Sterling Corporation, youngest female executive in the company's history." She smoothed her designer dress, shooting me a smirk. "Sarah, on the other hand, what are you doing these days? Still a secretary somewhere?" I took a sip of water, thinking about the meeting scheduled for tomorrow morning, the one Diana knew nothing about. "I'm an administrative assistant at Quantum Industries," I said quietly. "Right, a secretary," Diana laughed. "Mom, remember when we were kids and everyone thought Sarah would be the successful one? All those perfect grades, full scholarship to business school." Mom shifted uncomfortably. "Diana, please." "No, Mom, it's important to be honest. I mean, look at us now. I'm an executive making 6 figures and she's just a secretary. Life's funny that way, isn't it?" Our younger cousins stared at me with pity. Uncle Robert cleared his throat awkwardly. Aunt Patricia suddenly became very interested in her green beans. "How is Sterling Corp doing?" I asked mildly. "I heard there were some changes coming." Diana waved her hand dismissively. "Nothing I can't handle. We're being acquired by Quantum Industries, but they've assured all executives will keep their positions. In fact," she preened, "I'm meeting the CEO tomorrow morning, probably to discuss my new expanded role." I thought about the stack of HR files on my desk at home, including Diana's performance reviews and complaints from her subordinates. About the reorganization plans I'd spent months developing. About the fact that I wasn't just an administrative assistant. I'd founded Quantum Industries 15 years ago, building it into one of the largest technology conglomerates in the country. But Diana didn't know that. Nobody in the family did except Mom, who'd signed an NDA after accidentally discovering the truth last year. She caught my eye now, trying to hide a smile. "That's wonderful," I said, serving myself more salad. "I'm sure the CEO will be interested in meeting you." "Well, not everyone can handle the pressure of executive life," Diana continued, warming to her favorite topic, my failures. "Some people are meant for simpler roles. Right, Sarah?" I thought about my morning schedule. Breakfast with the Japanese investment team, 2 acquisition meetings, and then the Sterling Corp integration presentation, where Diana would finally learn who her new boss really was. "You're right, Diana. Everyone has their place." "Exactly." She beamed, missing my subtle sarcasm. "Like tomorrow, I'll be in the executive boardroom while you're probably answering phones or getting coffee." Mom coughed to hide her laugh. She'd visited my office once, all 40 floors of it, and seen exactly what kind of coffee runs I did. "Actually," I said, checking my watch, "I should head home. Big day tomorrow." Diana smirked. "Oh right, lots of copying and filing to do?" I stood up, smoothing my simple but expertly tailored dress. "Something like that. Good luck with your meeting tomorrow, Diana. I have a feeling it'll be memorable." As I left, I heard her start another story about her executive achievements. Let her have tonight, I thought. Tomorrow would change everything. In my car, I checked my messages. My CFO had sent the final Sterling Corp acquisition numbers. Diana's department was the worst performing division in the company, her leadership style described as toxic and hierarchical. "Confirm the 9 a.m. all-hands meeting," I texted back. "And make sure the org chart changes are ready." Tomorrow, Diana would learn that sometimes the biggest success stories are written by those who don't need to brag about them. The next morning, I arrived at Quantum Industries headquarters at my usual time, 7 a.m. The security guard nodded respectfully as I bypassed the regular entrance and took my private elevator to the top floor. "Good morning, Miss Thompson," my executive assistant James greeted me. "Sterling Corp's management team arrives at 9 a.m. Diana Thompson is already in the building. She came in early to, quote, prepare the executive team for your arrival." I smiled, checking the security feeds. Diana was in the 15th floor conference room, holding court with her fellow executives, clearly enjoying what she thought were her final moments as a big fish in a small pond. "Any updates on the complaints against her?" I asked, reviewing the morning's documents. James handed me a thick folder. 3 more came in this week. Apparently, she told a junior analyst that Secretaries like my sister were meant to serve executives like her. Perfect timing, I murmured. Is everything ready for the announcement? Yes, ma'am. New organizational chart is prepared, security has been briefed, and HR has the necessary paperwork. He paused. Are you sure you want to handle this personally? I thought about every family dinner where Diana had belittled my career choices, every holiday where she'd paraded her executive status like a crown. Oh yes, I said, standing up. This is definitely personal. At 8:55 a.m., I watched through the security cameras as Sterling Corp's management team filed into the main conference room. Diana sat near the head of the table, obviously expecting to be prominently placed for the new CEO. Send in the preliminary team, I instructed James. Our COO and CFO entered the room, beginning the standard acquisition presentation. Diana's face fell slightly when they didn't immediately acknowledge her self-proclaimed importance. At 9:15 a.m., right on schedule, James made the announcement. Please welcome the founder and CEO of Quantum Industries, Ms. Sarah Thompson. I walked in, dressed in a power suit that cost more than Diana's monthly salary. The room stood respectfully except Diana, who had frozen in her chair, face draining of color. Good morning, everyone, I said calmly, taking my place at the head of the table. Welcome to Quantum Industries. Mom. Diana squeaked, then quickly corrected herself. Sarah. The other executives looked between us, realization dawning on their faces. Some had clearly heard Diana's stories about her secretary sister. Yes, Diana, I smiled. Surprised to see your sister isn't getting coffee? Though I do make excellent espresso in my executive kitchen. Would you like some? She opened and closed her mouth several times, looking like a fish out of water. But you're just an administrative assistant at Quantum Industries? I finished for her. Actually, that was just my cover when I visited Sterling Corp for due diligence. I find people are more honest about company operations when they think they're talking to a secretary. I nodded to James, who distributed the new organizational charts. Diana's hands shook as she received hers. As you can see, I continued, we're implementing some changes. Starting with the executive leadership structure. Diana's eyes widened as she found her name, no longer as executive vice president, but reassigned to a junior management position, reporting to someone 3 levels below her current rank. You can't do this, she burst out. I'm the youngest female executive in Sterling's history. I corrected gently. You were the youngest female executive. Now you're a junior manager on probation, based on these performance reviews and complaints. The conference room had cleared except for Diana and me. She sat there, still staring at the organizational chart as if willing it to change. This is revenge, isn't it? She finally said. For all those family dinners. I leaned back in my chair, my rightfully earned CEO chair. Actually, it's business. Your department has the highest turnover rate in Sterling Corporation. Your leadership evaluations are abysmal. 3 harassment complaints in the last month alone. But I'm your sister. Exactly. And as your sister, I've watched you build your career on belittling others. As your CEO, I'm telling you that stops today. I opened my laptop, pulling up her personnel file. Let's review some quotes from your team. Creates a toxic environment. Constantly reminds us of her executive status. My personal favorite. Brags about her secretary sister to prove she's better than everyone. Diana's face flushed. You've been spying on me? No, I've been evaluating you just like every other executive in a company I'm acquiring. The fact that you're my sister didn't earn you special treatment, good or bad. I stood up, walking to the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. You know what's ironic? If you'd spent less time mocking my supposed career and more time being a decent leader, you might have kept your position. What do you mean? Your team's productivity is down 40% from last year. Client complaints have tripled. But your expense reports show weekly executive lunches, daily car service, and... I checked the file, a $5,000 office chair because, quote, executives deserve the best. She slumped in her chair, the standard one that had replaced her luxury throne this morning. Why didn't you ever tell me, she whispered. About founding Quantum. Would it have mattered? Would you have suddenly respected administrative assistants? Treated your team better? seen value in roles other than executive titles. Tears welled in her eyes. For the first time since we were kids, I saw my actual sister, not the power-hungry executive she'd become. What happens now? That's up to you. I handed her a folder. Option 1. Take the junior management position, learn humility, earn your way back up based on actual leadership skills. Option 2. Severance package, generous but with a non-compete clause. And if I go to the press? Tell them how my sister orchestrated my downfall. I smiled. You mean tell them how the CEO of Quantum Industries, a woman who built a multi-billion-dollar company from scratch, found nepotism and harassment in an acquired company and addressed it professionally? That press story. She deflated. When did you become so powerful? I always was, Diana. You just couldn't see past job titles to recognize different kinds of success. After a long moment, she reached for the first folder, the junior management option. I want to stay, she said quietly. But I don't know how to lead without being what I was. That's why your new supervisor is Linda Chin. Remember her? The Justice Secretary you dismissed last year? She's been running our most successful division while maintaining the lowest turnover rate in the industry. Diana's eyes widened. The secretary who brought me coffee is now your boss, I finished. Funny how life works out, isn't it? 3 months later, Diana attended her first family dinner as a junior manager. The difference was striking. No designer dress, no bragging, no put-downs. Instead, she talked about learning from Linda, about discovering what real leadership meant. Sarah, she said as we cleaned up afterward, I owe you an apology. Many apologies, actually. Keep them, I replied. Show me instead. Show everyone who's been looked down on by executives like your old self. Today, Diana runs our community outreach program, a position she earned after proving she'd changed. Her office is smaller, her salary lower, but her impact is bigger than ever. And at family dinners? She's the first to shut down any conversation about job titles or status. Success isn't about your position, she tells our younger cousins. It's about your impact. Just ask my sister. She taught me that. Sometimes the best lessons come from the people we underestimate the most. And sometimes the biggest office isn't where the real power sits. As for me, I still keep a nameplate on my desk that reads, Administrative Assistant. It reminds me and now Diana that every role has value, if you're wise enough to see it. After all, some of us change the world quietly, one coffee run at a time.